FM 94, The Dark. It is that time again. It's time to get to know a band we play here on The Dark. And tonight I'm talking with the drummer of a band out of Cheyenne, Wyoming, that being the band First Decree. We're talking with Zach Lopez-Smith. And first of all, Zach, thanks for joining me here on the program. And I said Cheyenne, Wyoming. How many rock bands are in Wyoming?
Well, thank you for having me, first of all. There aren't that many bands there in Cheyenne, Wyoming. We're actually probably the only band that actually tours and everything from that area. There's one other band in Wyoming called Righteous Vendetta.
Yes,
you're familiar with them.
Yes,
but,
I am.
They're kind of like the only other band from Wyoming that tours and stuff and in the rock scene. But there's a little tiny rock scene there in Cheyenne with some locals, but. Not very many.
There is, though I think there is some rock radio, though, in Wyoming, isn't there?
Yeah. We have, I think there's like 4 stations, but they're all kind of controlled by the same, K-TED or KZ or some of those. But, the rock presence there, as far as that goes, is pretty good. People want music there, rock music, and there's demand for it, but, Cheyenne doesn't see as many shows as like Casper's, another city there in Wyoming, and they usually get some pretty good shows. In fact, we just played there within this moment, which was awesome because it was like a hometown show kind of thing. So
very cool. It's probably more rodeos there than rock concerts, right?
Yes, there are lots of rodeos.
It's the old good stereotype there of Wyoming, right? The rodeo thing, huh?
Oh yeah. There's that stereotype as well as we ride horses to school and work, and we don't have cell phones, and we don't have electricity. There's all sorts of those ones.
Hey, let's talk about the band First Decree. It's actually made up of 2 of your brothers, and then obviously your lead singer Travis. Let's talk about the history of the band and how did this band First Decree all come about? Okay,
well, it was actually started by my oldest brother Dane and Travis, the lead singer. They were living in a different state than me and my other brother at that time, and they were kind of living like an apartment together, and they were going through some like breakups and stuff, life basically, and they just decided, hey, let's make a band. I think they watched like a documentary DVD of, I think it was Avenged Sevenfold one of theirs, and after watching it, they were just inspired, to make a band. So they decided to write some songs and started doing it. They asked me to play drums. I was in a different band at the time, like a local band doing whatever. They asked me to play drums. I was like, okay, whatever. I'm like, you're my brother. I'll play with you. And so I started playing. We played a couple gigs with just us 3 actually. And then Isaac, who had never played bass before, he'd been like orchestra and stuff before, so he's familiar with string instruments. But he, my brother Dane and Travis, they bought him a bass for Christmas. They're like, learn this and you can be in the band, kind of thing. So he learned how to play it, and then he joined the band, and from there we played some shows and went on tours and recorded an album, and then now we're here. So from all that,
all sorts of stuff. Well, and I've talked to Like a Storm. They're the Brooks brothers. I believe there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
What's it like being in a band with your brothers? I mean, it's not a unique situation. There's lots of bands that have had brothers in that, but obviously you have 3 of the 4 members are brothers. How do you guys get along? Is there squabbles? Well, what goes on the relationship there, I guess?
I feel like it's just like any other band, that we fight or we do, we have our arguments and whatnot, and it's but at the end of the day, we all have the same kind of dream. We have the same kind of goal to make this thing become successful. So we put whatever behind us and go on. And
growing up as a kid, obviously growing up as a kid, is it something that you all 3 kind of dreamed about doing one day, as getting a band going and going out on tour, or is it kind of something that just kind of happened?
I think it's a little bit of both. Like, I don't think we ever in our minds ever thought that we'd be in a band together, kind of thing. Growing up, we all loved music, our dad was a big 80s hair metal guy, so he listened to Def Leppard and Scorpions and Motley Crue and all AC/DC and all that kind of stuff, and he influenced us into the hard rock music and stuff, and so just coming from that influence and everything, we were always infatuated with rock music and live shows and stuff. We go to concerts, and so going with that, but we all obviously, we're all the same age, so we would go through life, we went through life experiences separately, I guess you could say, as far as, going to college or whatever, and listening to different music. Like Dane and Travis are more, they got like that 90s influence kind of, and early 2000s influence into them because they're older than me, and I got more like that 2000s, like 2006 and on kind of influences from bands that I listened to. So we all kind of came from different, kind of weird, like different walks of life, and even though we're brothers.
Right, exactly.
But with all that put together, we decided one day to just be in a band, so.
Very cool. Very cool. We're talking with Zach. He's the drummer of the band First Decree. The name First Decree, let's talk about that. I'm sure you probably get asked this question before. Why did you guys choose the name First Decree? What's the story behind it?
Okay, so at first, Dane and Travis, they came up with the name Decree. They wanted to call it Decree. And they, got on to Google or whatever and Googled Decree and saw there was another band or two that had the name Decree. So, okay, well, now what are we going to do? And they were listening to a song by Tenacious D, actually, and I forget what the song was, like Going to Town Hall or something like that. But in the song it says something about this is the first decree or something. So they heard that and they're like, let's just call it First Decree. So it's kind of weird. It comes from a Tenacious D song of all things, but then they took that and we put a meaning to the name. So with First Decree, it's which with decree is like a law, and then but first is the first law kind of thing. So being from Cheyenne, Wyoming, we want to be like the first band from there. So that makes it big or whatever, makes it successful in the music industry. So going along with that, this First Decree put together is, kind of goes along with that, being like the first law of Cheyenne or whatever, Wyoming kind of thing is becoming successful. So
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, obviously there's always meanings behind normally what the band's names are, and obviously that's what yours is. So that's cool. And as kind of like when I opened right away from Cheyenne, Wyoming, how many rock bands? There's not a lot there. And you mentioned. Obviously, your father influencing on the hard rock side of things. I guess the 80s rock and that, and then as you kind of growing up in the early 2000s with that. Looking at the music collection that you currently have right now, what are some of the things that you do listen to? Do you listen to other music than just that rock? Is there kind of something else other than that kind of helps you guys write the stuff that you're writing right now?
I listen to a lot of. I guess it's stuff with instruments, I guess. But it's all different. I listen to pop punk. I listen to heavy hardcore music. I even listen to death metal or whatever. I'm actually also listening recently Ed Sheeran. I don't know why. It's just
that's all right.
But we take all those influences. Like I said, Dan and Travis have that kind of post grunge '90s. They listen to Alice in Chains and Creed and Alter Bridge and some of those from the early 2000s. So they bring some of those influences in songwriting. I like Avenged Sevenfold's my favorite band,
right?
So I kind of bring some of those influences. Isaac, his favorite band is Motley Crue, so he kind of brings some of those influences. So it's really a whole different mesh of bands like that. And we listen to other stuff. We listen to rap, we listen to all that kind of stuff. We don't rap in any of our songs, but
yeah, not yet.
You can draw influences from any of that stuff. Like I said, Ed Sheeran, just listening to some of his lyrics or whatever, his songwriting is really good. So you can take influences from even stuff as different as that and put them into heavy rock music.
Absolutely. We're talking with Zach for the band First Decree. Reason I kind of asked that question is kind of, a little bit to kind of get the background of the band and kind of the sound a little bit too. Have you had a chance, you mentioned a lot of those different bands that each of you kind of followed and grew up with. Have you had a chance to meet any of those bands at all? And if you have, what kind of experience was that like for you? Have you ever had a chance to meet Avenged Sevenfold and those guys at all?
I haven't been able to meet Avenged Sevenfold. I have, so like one of the first rock CDs I got was from a band called 1,000 Foot Crutch.
Yes, 1,000 Foot Crutch. And, Trevor from there, right?
Yeah. And I got to meet him. We played at a festival with them in Tennessee, and I got to meet him then, and I kind of fangirled a little bit when I met him. I was like, hey, meeting someone you looked up to kind of thing. I mean, I listened to them for a long time, so I was like, hey, I listened to you guys forever.
Yeah.
So happy to be playing with you, kind of thing. But
right.
We met them. We've gone to shows where we've met bands. It's like the meet and greet or whatever. But
right.
Dane and Travis, one of their influences and idols is Mark Tremonti.
Yes.
So they got to meet him at a show one time, which was really cool. And I've never gotten to meet Avenged Sevenfold. Hopefully one day I will be able to. Maybe we can tour with them sometime. But just even touring with the bands that we have toured with has been surreal. Kind of like our first tour was with Smiley Soul, which is a band that we all listened to for many years.
Yeah, Sean Danielson's
we grew
band,
up on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we're like good friends with them now. So it's just crazy to think that you're listening to these bands and you would never think in a million years that you would be meeting them or even becoming friends with them.
Right.
So,
and that's
that goes. It's pretty cool.
The music industry, I think, as a whole, and I especially think the rock industry as a whole. And I'm a big hockey guy. Okay, so the hockey circle is always really tight. It almost kind of I kind of compare hard rock, active rock artists kind of like that hockey circle. You're all tight together, and you're all fighting for that one cause, because sometimes it's like you get overshadowed by the top 40 kind of pop people, and so you got to stick together a little bit, don't you?
Same way with like how hockey gets overshadowed by football.
Football, exactly.
Yeah. We're big hockey fans as well, so we understand all that.
Yeah, what do you must be Avalanche fans then, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Okay. We're not going to hold it again. I'm not going to hold it against you.
Are you a Minnesota Wild fan?
Yeah, I'd have to be a Wild fan, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Even
we're kind of rivals, I guess.
Yeah, we are a little bit, and back in the day, before there was the Colorado Rockies were back in the day. That was a hockey team. Mm-hmm. And then I believe they actually turned into the Quebec Nordiques, I think, for a while.
Yep.
All sorts of stuff, there. And we had
a little bit before my time,
yeah.
But I do remember all that,
Yeah, we had
looking at history and stuff.
we had the North Stars, and then Norm Green decided to take them to Dallas, So then they became the Dallas Stars, and then Minnesota here, the state of hockey, basically was out with hockey for how many years, with a pro team for about 7 years.
Makes no sense, because, when you think of Minnesota, that's one of the things you think of is hockey,
Yeah, somebody from Cheyenne, Wyoming, what do you think of Minnesota? When you hear the name Minnesota, what comes into your mind right away, besides hockey?
I think of snow and lakes.
There you go. That's about right. Have you guys had a chance to play up here ever?
We haven't actually. We have. I don't even know if I think we might have a date up there coming up soon. At least I hope we do. I've always wanted to play in Minnesota, but we haven't been able to do it. That's one of our. It's one of the only states, other than like some of the northeastern, that we haven't been able to hit. So hopefully soon we can get up there.
Let's talk about touring a little bit. First Decree, what the ultimate band bill, if you had to put together. First Decree is going to play with a couple other bands, some current bands, let's say. What are some other the band? Obviously, you mentioned Avenged Sevenfold, so that'd probably be one you'd love to play with. How about another band that you'd like to play with on a 3-bill tour?
Let's see here. Is it a 3-band?
Yeah, 3 bands. Yep.
Is that including us, or can I?
We'll say it's 4. How's that? You can pick 3 other ones.
That's perfect. Okay. I think another band we really like is Five Finger Death Punch.
Yep.
I think that would be cool. Adding them, obviously for me, Avenged Sevenfold, and then Alter Bridge is another band that I think we'd all love to tour with. They are a band that we have influences from, obviously. So that'd be another band that, I think all three of those bands can put with us would make a pretty interesting bill.
Very cool. And I'm a huge Miles Kennedy fan. Huge.
Yes, he's amazing.
He is
very talented.
Unbelievable voice. And the thing about Miles is that you could listen to him on the radio, and then when you go to his concert, it's like you're listening to the radio. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is crazy.
I mean, it's nuts. How about if I went to a First Degree concert? What would I expect at a First Degree concert?
I have a First Degree concert. Well, let's see here. Going off of what people have told us, of our show, it's pretty high energy. Nowadays, we feel like live show is more important than almost anything nowadays.
Right.
Album sales are down, so you have to have a good live show. So that's one thing we like to bring to it, is just high energy. We jump around, we go crazy, and but we also try to we also get some fan involvement in there. We try and get the crowd into it as much as we can, and get them involved with even if they don't even know us. We've some of the coolest experiences is where we have been able to get a crowd to do something like wave their arms or clap or anything like that, and so that's stuff that we like to do. Other than that, we just straight up rock and roll.
Is there a favorite song that the band likes to play live?
I think from all the band members, probably our favorite song is "Lost in the Crowd" to play.
Okay, yeah.
It's just an in-your-face rock song. It's the one we close our set with, actually. So by the time we get to it, we're already tired. but it's like, okay, this is the last song. Let's just give it our all, kind of thing. So that's probably all of our favorite is "Lost in the Crowd." It's fun. It gets the crowd going, and we're a band that doesn't really get mosh pits necessarily, but with that song, we have gotten a few mosh pits in it. So
very interesting. Very interesting. So basically, watch out when it comes on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Keep your head up on a swivel.
There you go.
Hey, obviously, the first song that I heard from you guys was Phoenix. Did pretty well, I think, actually, if I'm not mistaken. I know I'm a reporter for the Under the Radar chart, and I believe that it peaked almost in the top 10, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it peaked at number 12 Under the Radar, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and so I mean it got some decent play at least that way, and then Lost in the Crowd was your second single that you put out, and that one seemed to have some legs too, didn't it?
Yeah, it I forget where it peaked. I think it peaked at about 14 also on the Under the Radar, but yeah, both of those songs did really well for us, and we're surprised. I think. I mean, not surprised, but it's our first time going to radio with anything,
right?
So,
have you
about how it went?
Have you had a chance, Zach, to actually hear your songs on the radio? Obviously, you have rock stations out in Wyoming, and I'm sure.
Yeah.
Have you heard your song on the radio?
Yeah. It's crazy.
What does that mean to
you?
When
it actually happens, we're driving in your hometown or whatever, and you hear your song play out of nowhere. It's pretty crazy. And then when we're home, our parents will. They're always trying to listen for it, so they'll have the radio on all day long, so I'm just trying to listen to it. So, we heard it a couple times, and our mom would come screaming down, like, you guys are on the radio, listen to it. I'm like, okay, Mom.
Yeah, that's
been on the radio for like 5 months now, Mom.
Yeah.
Heard it how many times? But, I mean, it's still a cool feeling, It's still awesome to hear it.
Absolutely. We're talking with Zach. He's the drummer of the band First Degree. I want to get to the new album and the latest song, too. But before I do that, I want to ask you this question, which I ask every artist, band member, whatever, that I always interview. What artist what artist out there would you like to cover one of your songs?
Cover one of our songs?
Yes. And, it doesn't have to be in your genre of music. It can go outside. It can be Ed Sheeran doing one of your songs.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Actually, it would be really cool if Ed Sheeran covered, like, Lost in the Crowd or something.
Yeah.
I actually watched I watched a video of him covering some, like, heavy metal. It was like Iron Maiden and Metallica. I actually watched him doing a cover of some of those acoustically. It was actually really cool. So, I think Ed Sheeran would be really cool. or even something as crazy like Taylor Swift to cover one of our songs. I think that'd be kind of interesting.
Well, on a marketing side, I think it would make you guys really get known if Taylor Swift could do one.
But we don't really have any songs about breakups, so I don't know if she would do it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just it. And a lot of people. Well, I'm thinking of "I Prevail." They took the Taylor Swift song, and that kind of put them on the map.
Yeah, it's helping them a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely it's tough. It's tough to be in this industry, isn't it, Zach?
Yes, yeah.
Talk
a lot of hard work and sacrifice.
Yeah, talk about the struggle, I guess, a little bit to get noticed and to get out there and what you have to go through.
Well, I mean, right now is just staying on the road for us, which is a struggle in itself. Being on tour isn't necessarily as glamorous as what people think. It's a lot of, you're tired every day. You long drives, and especially being in a band, we don't really have crew. We have like one guy who comes out with us. He does our merch and kind of is like our tour manager. So we don't really have like a crew to break down our stuff, whatever, every night. So we're doing that. We're doing all the driving. So as far as that goes, just touring is tough. And getting your name out there as much as you can with that. Like when people don't know who you are, you can't just sit at your merch table and expect people to come up and buy stuff. We go out and we hustle. To people and like, hey, did you hear our set? Here's our CD for $10. If you will, please get it and help us out, kind of stuff. So for us, that's been the struggle is just touring.
Yeah,
we've been doing a lot of it lately.
For a young band like you, it's playing local gigs, getting out there, getting maybe a little bit money that way, maybe some ticket gate, whatever. Also, then your CDs, obviously your merchandise is where you're making your money. Basically, it's and that's that's the one thing for all the listeners listening right now. When you go to these shows, you're paying for your ticket. That's one thing. But go out and support these guys merchandise-wise, because that's where a lot of the money comes from, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. In fact, we were talking with one of the bands we went on tour with. I won't mention names, just kind of a thing. But they were actually losing money on their CD sales, because they had to pay back the label. But they were selling them for it was like a couple dollars under what they paid for them, basically, to the label. So. But they're just saying, like, we just want to spread the word, kind of thing. Like, we don't care if we're losing money on our albums, but we just want to get out there. We want it in people's hands. We want people to listen to the music. So they're making money off like their shirts and stuff. But so definitely, merchandise is huge for bands nowadays, especially bands tour so much nowadays. So they make a lot of their money off merchandise. Absolutely.
Yeah, your new album just came out last month. This Is Our Rise. How has that been perceived so far?
So far, it's been pretty good. We've gotten a few reviews on it online and stuff, which have been awesome to see. People actually responding to the album. The fans have loved the song, so. It's really cool. You wait and wait to release something, and you work really hard on the songs. You work so hard in the studio to get them to what you want it to be, and so it's really cool when you finally get to release it and people have it in their hands and are listening to it and telling you, what their favorite song is or what this song means to them, kind of stuff. So far it's been really cool with that.
And awesome. And obviously we mentioned the two other singles that you've already released. Let's talk about the latest one now on radio, Stopped. I looked on the charts. I think it was at 22 this week. I think it peaked at 21 on Under the Radar. Talk about that song a little bit, and what's the story behind it?
Well, we actually we didn't write that song. It was actually brought to us from our producer, and he was like, "Hey, I got this song." And a band had done it before. The producer, he had written it and everything, co-wrote it. And it was a song about bands kind of getting, like, screwed over by the industry kind of stuff, music execs and whatnot. And we've experienced some of that so far in our short careers. So, it was a cool idea, a cool song, and we were like, let's do it. We took it, and we made it our own, obviously. But so it means a lot to us as far as that goes. As far as just watching out for people, because there's really nice people in this industry, but there's also some people out there who are just out to get you. You know, and that's one thing that a lot of bands, younger bands, and bands coming up need to watch out for is people like that. So everything's a learning experience, obviously, and we've learned from those experiences. So we took that song and we made it our own, and we enjoy playing it every night live, and we're really happy with what it's done so far at radio. And we just got done doing a music video actually for it.
Nice.
And that should be coming out hopefully soon, hopefully in like a month or so. I don't know. I don't know the exact date. We haven't actually seen the final version of it yet, but we're excited for that. It should be pretty cool. Very cool.
Yeah, you mentioned touring. I know you're on tour right now, you said, with Avatar and Gemini Syndrome, and that's going on for a little bit. Do you have some other future plans for some tours that maybe you can leak out, or are we kind of keeping tight-lipped on that stuff right now?
Well, I know one that actually I think both have been released. Yeah, we're going right after this one. We go out with Otherwise and Like a Storm.
Okay, yeah.
So we'll be out with them for I think about a month.
We're gonna hang out with Adrian, huh?
Yes. yeah. It'll be really cool because we haven't met any of those guys. We've met some of the guys like the Storm before, like the festival or something, but we've never played a show with any of them. So it'll be really cool to tour with them. And I mean, those are both two young bands kind of coming up right now. So that'll make for a good package of bands. I think Seasons After is on that bill as well.
Wow.
So all four bands will be,
very cool.
Fun. It'll be a fun tour.
We got
right after that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. What? And then you have after that? You have what?
Yeah. Right after that, we will be on tour with Track.
Nice.
Which will be the second time we've actually toured with them. So we're really excited for that tour as well. Just to kind of reunite with them, and I think we might be direct support on that tour. So it should be. It'll be a good one.
Yeah, we got to get your butts up here to Minnesota then with those tours. Come on now.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'll have to check the dates again and see them all. We have so many dates, but I don't even remember where we're going. I just kind of follow wherever the RV takes us.
Just get in the RV and go, as long as you're not driving, right?
Just goes, yeah.
Hey, I know we got to get going here, Zach, but how do fans out there, how do people learn more about your band, First Decree?
Well, just like a lot of bands, or pretty much every band, we got a lot of social media presence. Go to our Facebook or our Twitter, our Instagram. We love posting pictures of pretty much everywhere that we go, and we post everything all about us on Facebook. We also have a website that we just launched here recently. So we go to firstdecree.com and look us up on there, and we got a merch store on there that you can pick up our CD, our new CD, This Is Our Rise. So we also have stuff on YouTube. We post, we haven't posted one in a little bit, but some like videos, like day in the life of videos of us, so you can kind of get in to our lives on the road kind of stuff by watching those on YouTube.
Yeah, I think I saw you had one on there just recently about the RV, didn't you?
Yeah. We also, it's like the RV tour or something. So you can come and see, you can go on YouTube and see where we live. I don't know if that's kind of creepy or not, but but you can come in there. You can come in there with us and see where we live.
Absolutely. Hey, a lot of fun talking with you. I wish you the best of luck here on the tours. This right now, the tour's coming up, and with the current album too. And hopefully, the song keeps climbing the charts. And we're going to play your latest song right now. Stop. Does that sound good?
Perfect. That sounds awesome, yeah.
Thanks for joining me so much. We appreciate it, Zach.
No, thank you so much for having me.
Once again, that is the drummer. He's from the band First Decree. That is Zach Lopez-Smith. You want to hear their latest song, Stopped? You got it right now.